Captain America Brave New World comes out this upcoming weekend, and box office predictions for the film look bleak, look extraordinarily bleak. Wrote this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. But we got a new report from Deadline that says that the movie is expected to have a domestic 3-day opening of just $80 million. The outlet also predicts it will make $94 million in its 4-day opening due to President's Day on Monday. As for its global opening, it noted the film is currently expected to bring in $190 million. So they're looking at another $110 million internationally over the 3-day weekend. So not looking good. You might think those numbers are good. They're not. They're not good at all. So the report also detailed that the film's pre-sales are pacing 10 to 15% below Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which had a domestic opening of $106.1 million. That's right. Captain America Brave New World is expected to be $26 million less in its opening weekend than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Those numbers are suspect, too, given an $80 million opening for Brave New World would be a nearly 25% decline from Quantumania rather than what they're saying 10 to 15% in pre-sales. So in order for that to track, it's likely they are not expecting as much walk-up traffic compared to Quantumania, which is always a bad sign. You're not going to have any kind of impulse buyers. You're not going to have people buying tickets day of. That's not good. That's not a good sign. Deadline also claims the film is tracking 40% ahead of Eternals in pre-sales. That film only grossed $71.2 million. If those pre-sales tracked 1-to-1 to opening, Brave New World should be expected to bring in around $100 million in its opening weekend. Given the expectations are at $80 million, the models seem to indicate that day of purchases are going to be lower than both Eternals and Quantumania. So the bulk, seemingly, of these of the revenue here, of the box office growth, seems to be coming from pre-sale numbers rather than that walk-up traffic that they had seen even with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and Eternals. Not looking good at all for Brave New World when you actually dive into it here. There is a little bit of a bright spot here, I guess. While Deadline predicts the film will only do $80 million in its opening 3-day weekend, Sean Robbins at Box Office Theory believes the film could bring in between $86 million and $105 million, with a pinpoint prediction of $90 million. Those numbers are actually up compared to his 5-week forecast, where he noted the range was between $81 million and $98 million, albeit his pinpoint prediction was still $90 million. He also goes on to predict the film will gross between $207 million and $274 million in total at the domestic box office. His pinpoint prediction is $240 million. So a little bit of a positive there. He's still saying the pinpoint is the same, but you can see obviously his range on the low end has increased by $5 million. And on the high end has also increased as well by, $7 million there. So, if you actually want to look at comparisons, it gets even worse. It gets really bad. So you go back to the last Captain America film, 2016's Captain America Civil War. It had a domestic opening of $179.1 million. Domestic. That's just domestic. Remember, they're saying global for this film is 190. So the domestic for Civil War is just about 6% less than the current global expectation. It actually grossed $200.4 million internationally in its opening weekend and had a global gross of $379.5 million. So again, the current global expectation for Brave New World is what? $190 million. That is 50% lower than Civil War. Massive, massive decline right there. You can even go back and look at the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe film, Deadpool and Wolverine. It had a domestic opening of $211.4 million just last year, and it grossed $444.1 million globally in its opening weekend. So dwarfs what these Brave New World expectations are. So on the bright side, again, we do have some positives here. It does look like its opening weekend is almost as much as what the Marvel's entire run at the box office was. That film only grossed $199.7 million during its entire run in theaters back in 2023, and they're expecting, that's what they're saying, $190 million globally. We'll see. I have a feeling that these numbers might be a little high, and it might actually come in lower than what they are showing here. I'm just not really seeing any real hype for this film. Everyone seems very skeptical of it, at least in the circles that I run in. We can even go over here and go to Google Trends and type this in, Captain America, Brave New World. We can see it is somewhat trending upwards. It did kind of go up. That was probably what, Super Bowl? Or the Super Bowl here is like the big spike. I guess this is today, so I don't like that. We need to go to how do we change this here? Let's go to the past month. So yeah, you can see it is trending up as it comes into the release day here, the release opening weekend. But like we can compare it to, let's compare it to Deadpool and Wolverine. And obviously, we're going to have to increase our count here and have to go to like what, the past 12 months. I think that should work. And you can see Deadpool and Wolverine when it released, massive spike right there, just completely dwarfing Captain America, Brave New World. It only looks like it's beating Deadpool and Wolverine like right now when it's about to come out. So not looking good. I think if we do the Marvels, we might have to back it up a little bit more. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Let's see. I guess we can do past 5 years, so we'll be able to see that. And you can see even the Marvels had a higher spike than what we're looking at here with Brave New World. Now, we'll see if it gets up there during the weekend, but that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all when you're looking at comparing it to the Marvels. We just talked about how that film only did 199 million total global gross throughout its entire domestic run. So not good at all. We can even do Eternals because that was one of the pre-sales that they were saying. I mean, you can see right there. I mean, it's not. You can't even see the blue line. You can't even see the blue line until right here. It does not look good at all. I think that just shows how far Marvel has fallen. That Deadpool and Wolverine film being an exception. I just don't see the trend of the box office grosses continuing to consistently decline. Now, they might have an exception like Deadpool and Wolverine every now and again, but for the most part, it looks like this franchise is on the downward trend and doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon, because you can even look at what's going on Disney Plus as well and see that even though they're adding more and more subscribers domestically in the US and Canada, I think they added 800,000 in the last quarter, and they're still not seeing any kind of increases in their viewership for any of these Marvel shows. So people aren't subscribing to Disney Plus to watch Marvel. I think the franchise is clearly in decline, and they really have only themselves to blame because they decided to embrace the woke DEI MCU agenda, and it's going to come to they're going to pay for it, and they already are paying for it. And if you look at the Marvels, they paid for that, and I think they're going to pay for it in this film here as well. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always speak the truth.